What's up? It's Weekly Metal Reviews here, reviewing Ant Killer by the band Raid. It's alright. No, we're kidding. We're continuing our Alice in Chains discography. We're getting towards the end. This time we're talking about their self-titled album, Alice in Chains.
It was released in 1995. A little background, I guess, on the album. After Dirt, Layne Staley, as always, was getting high and shit on drugs and whatnot. Around that time, the band was like, hey, you're really not doing good with this, because we're supposed to go on tour or something, and, you know, you're screwing up, so, you know, you're kind of unofficially sort of out of the band, you're going to rehab. And so Layne Staley went to rehab. They ended up not going on the tour. Layne Staley started, getting involved with Mad Season. Cantrell started getting involved with Sean Kinney a little bit with his solo project. And then, I guess 1995 came around and they're like, hey, everyone's kind of drifting away from the band. That really isn't good because, I guess Cantrell's thinking, my solo career is not really taking off, and, the band is fun. I remember the old days, so, may give that a run again, go back to the band and get everyone back. So they decided to call up Layne Staley and be like, hey, you're unofficially out of the band, so I guess you're kind of unofficially invited back in the band. So Layne's like, yeah, might as well, since, I'm having some kind of fun with Mad Season, and it's nice being in a band again, might be nice to tour again and whatnot. So they get Layne Staley back, and they go into the recording studio. I forget the guy's name, but same dude who produced Slayer before. Anyway, they get back in the studio, and really from what I hear off the album, it seems like it's kind of interesting how 3 of their 4 singles, 3 really big hits off the album, I guess, Jerry Cantrell wrote the lyrics to and performed lead vocals on them. So I guess it's not like, I'm not saying Layne didn't contribute at all, it's just Jerry doing what Jerry does always, being a really creative force in Alice in Chains. What else? You can kind of tell in a slight way the band matured a little bit, I'm guessing. They still have their roots from their previous albums and when they came about and everything, but I kind of felt, in a way, with the influence they took, like Layne Staley brought some influence from Mad Season, got out in the world a little bit. Jerry Cantrell sort of had a country side with his solo project, and they kind of joined forces a little bit with Alice in Chains and sort of, got a little more influence in the songs. And I feel like they really furthered themselves a little bit away, I guess, a nice analogy, I guess, as Kurt Cobain died in '94, and afterwards things started moving away from grunge a little bit. So things sort of, I guess they were progressing with time to maybe move away from that a little bit while maintaining the roots, sort of. But I feel like they're maybe not maturing, I guess, but really incorporating other sounds and other styles and really other things into their musical process and their creative pool that they got going. So I think it's definitely not their biggest album, most popular, I think. It's still Alice in Chains, so people know it, but it's always that one, like, what else did they do? Oh yeah, that self-titled one. So people never really fully remember it, I guess. But I still feel like it has its highlight tracks. They played a couple songs on their during their Unplugged show that people liked. Overall, it's a pretty cool album. It's not exactly what they did before. It's a little further. They further their process a little more. What am I trying to say here? Well, anyway, they furthered themselves a little bit, and they progressed a little more. So it's a little different from their other stuff, but not so much of a difference as you can really flat out hear from like the first song. Oh my God, this is so different. It's just a little pinch that you can notice while you're listening to it sometimes. Like some of the different things they incorporate, like sometimes really light, sort of gentle melodies. I mean, I'm not saying they didn't have any on Dirt, but Dirt is more of a, it speaks for itself album, kind of Dirt, more of a grungy, exactly, grungy sound. They have a little, some relaxing parts where they incorporate stuff from their old stuff and the influences they took in. But I feel it's a little different, and it's a really, really good listen, a good listen. I think if you just know Dirt or any of their previous stuff, I mean, this is really worth checking out. It may be forgettable sometimes, but if you really sit down and listen to it all, I mean, it could become one of your favorites. It's a really nice album. By no means, I don't think it's really weak, but
Yeah, just kind of like Sam was saying, this album might be like the most forgettable Alice in Chains album, even though it's still very strong. This is personally my least favorite. I don't find myself coming back to this album as much as I do others. Not that I don't listen to this album. I've listened to this album a lot. It's just when I think of Alice in Chains, I want to listen to Jar of Flies or Dirt or something, Facelift, you know. But this album is pretty good. It does have some very good tracks, such as you know, Heaven Beside You, probably the biggest song off of here. Just the softness in that track is just amazing, and then it just goes from a nice acoustic track to just something that pounding. It's very heavy. There's some very big vocal harmonies or vocal catchiness to it, and to this album too. Such as a track that isn't really played on the radio, Head Creeps. I find that track to be extremely catchy. The chorus is just awesome on that song. There's just a lot of melodies on here that I really just enjoy, such as in the chorus of Goddamn, but that guitar lead is just so beautiful. And then it just, after I think it's the second chorus, it just kind of goes into that solo and the vocals keep going. I love that. That is so amazing. Alice in Chains just has so many amazing moments throughout every song on every album. And this album really is no different. One thing that I just don't think is as strong and as nice about this album compared to the other albums is the vocals. Lane Staley's vocals just sound so strange sometimes. Like, sometimes I just feel like they're harmonized the entire time. And it's just kind of just, like Alice in Chains, they're known for their harmonies, you know, that's one of the standout features, but they were never harmonized the entire time. It's either they're harmonized the entire time or there's just some effect on it. I don't even know, but that's just, sometimes it's just really unnecessary. Just let Lane sing. It doesn't need to be harmonized the entire time. I mean, that just may be me just being nitpicky and shit, but there's just some very strange vocal moments on here, I think, such as the song, Nothing Song, like when Lane goes, like, that's just weird. Not that it's horrible or anything, it's just kind of strange. But this album, I feel, is also very aggressive, and it's very just kind of heavy hitting. Jerry's guitar tone is just a lot darker and heavier, and this album is just very darker, I feel, than Dirt, and that's really hard to do. I mean, Dirt's very dark and atmospheric and all that, but this album is just like a gigantic black cloud over you the entire time. And I mean, it's heavy hitting and everything, but it does, for the most part, but it does have its melodic moments, soft moments in songs such as "Shaming You," you know, great song that is too. This album's just, it's good, don't get me wrong, it's just not the best in their discography, and it's a shame that, you know, this had to be the last album with Lane Staley. I wish they could have just put more material out. I wish Lane never got like he was, you know, but oh well. This album just has a lot of moments that are strong, but a lot of moments that are just kind of like, that's just really weird. I'm not feeling that as much as past Alice in Chains. But don't get me wrong, this is still a good album. I feel that this album is, if you're looking to get into Alice in Chains, I wouldn't recommend this album. I would recommend, you know, Dirt, Jar of Flies, and all that. But once you get into Alice in Chains, definitely check this album out, because you'll find something that you love, like Sam was saying. But it's good. Like I've said, it's just good. It's just not as strong. It's hard to live up Dirt and Jar of Flies after those two are like the definitive Alice in Chains records, and it's just kind of hard to live them up album after album after album, and you know, but check this album out regardless. That's all we gotta say. This is Alice in Chains, self-titled. The next one will be Black Gives Way to Blue.